Hi, everybody. My name is Cady. I've been teaching trading now for 2 or 3 years, but I've been a member of the exchanges here in the United States, both the equity and the futures exchanges, for over 4 decades. I got my first day on the floor when I was 19. I got my membership when I was 20. And so I know what it's like to start out on the bottom rung and have survived many years. And so I'm excited to help everybody from the beginning levels, literally from the very beginning. And what I did remember from my first day was that there is no such thing as a dumb question. And the only caveat was that you're not allowed to ask the same question twice. So that
I like that.
right? The guy who told me that would say people will know that you're stupid if you ask the same question twice. But there is no dumb question. And so everybody's seeking an answer in the markets. They generally want to know, what is the answer? What is the answer? How do I make millions? But I would suggest that you're competing against the smartest people in the world. And this is the ultimate game with the smartest players. And this game is ever changing and ever evolving.
So you know what the floor had? The floor had an ecosystem of old people teaching young people. And when the exchange went electronic, that handing down of knowledge, which was actually like the family farm, people would just learn. You'd come, get 19-year-old person come to the floor. He would work his way up from being a clerk. It was a true American dream. You could actually start from nothing, not go to college, come from a working class background, and be standing shoulder to shoulder with the kids who came from Harvard. And if you were smart and you could learn quickly and adjust this stuff on the fly, you could make it. And so now when the exchanges went electronic, they lost the entire knowledge pool. And through the magic of video, we'll be able to, and our experience will be able to pass on some of that experience to anybody who's willing to listen and change for their own right. If you have a friend and they pay attention to what you say, right? They're a good friend, right? If you have a person that's working for you, what's a positive character trait? Somebody with courage and curiosity, right? You also need a sense of humor, because in this game, 8 out of 10 people fail. So you better have a, look on the bright side of life attitude if you're going to try. And you see it among all of us older traders, is that, oh my God, there are actually now young people for us to pass down the knowledge that we learned. We're not going to go to the grave with it.
So why do you think the floor no longer has any education being taught? I know it's a big question, but...
Floor is only interested in cars through the toll, so to speak. They want to get their fraction of a commission. And what they did squander, it was like if you stand in line at a ski area and you look around and you see people who used to be former World Cup skiers standing in line. And you're like, wow, the ski area has all this knowledge, but they're not doing anything with the people here who love the sport. And in our case, all the old guys who you're going to talk to love trading. And so it's kind of a win-win, right? Because it's nice for us to dump the knowledge onto you, and it's nice to see the fact that you actually can get smart and learn and survive on your own as a trader. And that's a necessary skill, right? Think about why do people got to learn to trade? Because interest rates are zero. If interest rates are zero relative to the price of inflation, every dollar ever printed has to be traded. Right? So you have to know. You got to know how to trade. I taught some sort of how to think about what happens when you hit the mouse. In other words, you hit the mouse and then all of a sudden every trade is either going for you or going against you, and you need to remove the sense of cheerleading for a position that's just bad form. In order to see the market clearly, you have to put the trade on and then observe the market as though you're an impartial observer of the market. If you're not going to see the market clearly if you're cheerleading your own position. We used to say to people on the floor, we'll get you some pom-poms all the time. I would say find the oldest traders you can who have a real world experience on the floor, and then listen. Just be a sponge. And remember that the name of the tune is to stay in business. So you want to surround your people who have stayed in business.
Okay, my name is Steve Hawkins. I've been involved in the markets since the mid to late 80s. Yeah, I've been involved with my business partner, Peter Stoudemire. He's the creator of Market Profile. I got involved with the profile and trading through a mutual friend of mine from high school. Back in the day, I was a decent athlete, and a lot of people still believe that athletes can become good traders. So he approached me and wanted to know if I wanted to get involved in a business entity he had, which was working with Peter Stoudemire on developing and educating the community on Market Profile. So I took him up on the offer, and one thing after another, I kind of educated myself on the process and got involved in the business and doing some things as far as educating individuals, educating institutions, doing some brokerage, and then those two had a falling out, and I started working more closely with Peter, developing the Market Profile ideas and educating the community. And we like to tell people that the profile, it offers off-the-floor traders and on-the-floor perspective. So it's a way to visualize the price action. Back then it was a pit. Really visualize the price action that's occurring in an underlying instrument. As the markets are accumulating prices horizontally, you're building a profile. Where there's a lack of letters, that's a situation where the market is not accepting those prices. And you can kind of visually see some type of a Gaussian distribution, a bell curve, and this can give you a perspective of how the market received the price action. If it is an influence or an influx of buying coming in the market, you're going to have some type of a vertical move higher with less letters, and if it's more price acceptance, you're going to build letters horizontally. And that's essentially what a profile is.